Hey, so this is Chriskon Machinima, and I will be recreating my tutorial about exporting your character and getting it ready for animation. I will go a bit more in depth this time and rig you the whole character from scratch, and I will also get it ready for lighting, so this might be a bit longer tutorial. So first off, you will need one model viewer, and for this one I will be using 3ds Max for the animating program. Right, so you want to first put your character into the model viewer. You can do this by copying the armory link here and importing it. So I've already done that. I've also put my character's animation here in face pose. This helps when you export the OBJ to get the correct placement of the armor with the shoulders. So yeah, first off you want to export an FBX file. So, I have a new tutorial here. When you get this option, unless you actually want to use these pre-made animations, which I want, you want to unselect them. But you can use them, but there's no need really rigging them if you use these. So, yeah, just unselect all for this tutorial. And OK. After this, you want to go to File again and export an OBJ for the armor. So let's see. Right. When you have this done, you want to open 3ds Max, and in here up in the corner you want to import it. Let's see. Right, so first you want to open the FBX. Mine was there. Right, and what you want to make sure here is that animation is off. Other than that, converters, dummy, etc. That should be by default, I think. So let's see. Yeah, here you have all the bones, and basically I always start with this one here. You hide them. Pretty much, you select them like this, and you hide and hide selection. You want to do this on all the bones you don't need. So if you haven't done this before, you should be testing the character. For example, on the arm here, there are a lot of bones, which is just for the skinning, like you see here. So these you want to hide, and there should be 2 bones on the arm here too. So you want to hide this one. Make sure that the one that moves the arm like this, don't hide it, you're going to need it. So do the same thing here. Basically, this one also has useless bones there, but I never use this area with my rigs, so there's no need to hide them. Now here you want to see, let's see. So yeah, this is the tarbot bones, this one, but the one above you can hide. And this is also tarbot, and my character has a cape, so that means I'm gonna have to keep the cape bones. The face bones are usually a tad bit tricky because of the hair, so these ones should be fine. Yeah, basically don't delete the bones. There's really no need to delete them, and if you delete the wrong bone you're gonna have to start over again. So that's why I always hide them, and I'm going to show you the layers in a few seconds here. Let's see. Right. Okay, so there's one problem, as you can see. Basically his hair is hidden inside his body. This is mostly only for blood of males, but it can happen, I think. No, actually I think it's only for blood of male. I can't remember another race with this problem. So basically you're gonna have to move, like find the bones. Oh, it's these ones. You have to find these bones and just rotate them forward to check if there's anything you need to hide. Nothing there. And Okay, so that's the back here. Right. Just gonna have to keep these and okay, so just delete in the face here. You want to basically delete, for example, these bones. You're never gonna need them. No, sorry, I don't mean delete. Jesus, man. Hide selection. So, like, I mean, when you do 3D and you want a really nice expression, usually you want to use, for example, these bones and, for example, these bones, but I never use them, so I'm gonna hide them. But you can have them visible or do your own thing afterwards when I'm showing you the layers. So yeah, these ones in the middle here you want to delete. Just make sure to not delete these because those are for the eyelashes. Eyelids. Jesus, man, my English, it's real. But yeah, I think that's all. If not, I can just delete, hide, fuck's sake. If not, I can just hide more bones later on, so I'm just gonna leave it like this. So first off, we're gonna click on the skin of the character or the mesh, and in this rainbow panel here, blue rainbow, it's named modify. You want to go to the drop down, and you want to find edit mesh. So yeah, for this one, you basically click on elements, and you want to delete this green part here. Also want to say that it's really important that you build every edit you do to the mesh of the character above the skin. If it is, for example, deleting or textures, just do it above the skin, because there's no reason to have it beneath the skin. However, if you want to morph your character, which I'm not gonna do in this tutorial, or you want to make the character fatter, for example, it needs to be beneath the skinning. So just for future reference, if you're gonna try that. So yeah, we have hidden the eyes, and I'm gonna rename this one to delete. Right, so I'm gonna open the eyes now, and gonna start with the rigging of the arms and legs. So I usually do the IK chains before I split my character into layers. You can see the layer panel here, everything is in one layer, which is the default one. And if you don't have this layer panel, you can find it in manage layers, which is this one. So you basically have to click on it, and if you right click here, you can dock it, and I usually dock it to the right. So that's how you get it. Now for the IK chains. So there's two shoulder bones here. One which moves, as you can see, the whole body here. This one I usually keep like that. I use this one which only moves the arm. So you want to click on the upper shoulder bone, and you want to go to animation here and IK solvers and high solver, and you want to take it down here to this bone, which is basically the wrist bone, and you click. When you've done that, you want to do the same for the other shoulder, animation, IK solver and high solver, and put it down there. For feet, you want it on the hip bone, which is this one. It kind of depends from character to character, but on Blood of Male it's this one. And you want to take it down to the ankle bone, which is this. When you've done this, you have the main solvers, and then you want to go to the create panel, and there's one that says helper, and I usually use the one that's dummy, which basically creates this square. So what you want to do is up here you can find quick align, which is a really neat tool. If you click on the ankle of the character now, you can see it aligns perfectly to that bone, and then you can just scale it up like this. So I'm gonna do this for all legs and the arms. Jesus. Okay, so now comes to finish the arm and legs. What you want to do is you want to take the select and link tool here, and you click on the blue one, which is the high solver, and you drag it onto the green helper. So this is going to make the solver full of the helper. There are many better ways to do this, but this is how I do it, and it usually goes pretty fast, especially when I'm not doing a tutorial of it. It goes even faster as long as you're kind of used to do it. So I just hid the solvers because you aren't going to need those anymore. What you want to do now is you want to click on the wrist bone here, because you might notice that if you rotate the helper now, it's not going to rotate the arm. So if you click on the wrist bone and go to the motion panel to the right there, are you fucking serious? Oh, okay, sorry, I'm doing it wrong now. You want to click on the animation and constraints and orientation constraint there. This is gonna rotate your bone. Sorry, what I want in the motion panel, you only click there after you've set up the rotation, or if you want to, for example, move the knees or middle of the arms, etc. I'm going to show you that later on in the tutorial, so sorry about that. But yeah, you put up orientation constraints now on every bone. Same for the legs. Also, make sure that you click on keep initial offset. So let's see. So yeah, for the bones here, you're going to notice that if you rotate the ankle bone here, you're going to fuck up the legs. But exactly inside I don't even know what that shape is named, but if you click exactly inside there, it should have one more extra bone, which is for the leg, foot only. So when you've clicked on that one, you also want to put up the constraint, orientation constraint, and onto this helper. If you have a Worgen or a Draenei, you are going to need, I think, 2 pairs of IK solvers and helpers, one by the knee and one at the end there, because they have a bit weird legs, but it should work if you just try around. I can't show that for this tutorial though, unfortunately. But yeah, so for the face, let's see, I think these bones are not going to do anything. Yep. Just going to delete those, and the one at the edge is there. Right, so what you want to do now in the create panel and the helper is you want to create more dummies. Just going to make a small one, and let's zoom up in the face. So you want to align the first dummy to the middle of the face of the character, which you can do by the eyebrow one, and you just move it down and scale it down. I usually put it here, and this one is gonna pretty much rotate the eyes, and this one is gonna be for the bones of the eyebrows. So these are just quick helpers to make it easier to make expressions faster, but if you want to do this thoroughly, you might want to create your own eyebrow setup, etc., especially for the mouth, because I'm gonna just do a simple one now. So yeah, for when you put these up, what you want to do is you want to basically link these bones, select and link, to the different squares. So the middle one goes to the middle square, and then you can just hide it. These ones I believe should go to this one. again, it depends on which race you are doing, but for the blood of male, these three should go to the squares at the end. I don't think I usually do these. Yeah, this is good enough for now. So what you want to do then, when you've linked those, you want to actually link these three squares in. You want to link them to the big square. So this means that if you do, for example, this one, now you can do deformations like this easily. You know, that looks kind of stupid, yeah. After this, you want to rotate the eyes to the middle square there. Animation constraints and orientation constraints. So as you might have noticed, I keep using the same ones because, well, this rig is quite simple. It doesn't really take much. So it's basically orientation constraint and IK solvers that just I use over and over again here. When you've done these, right, so what you want to do now for the mouth, you want to move this eye one further down and just scale it up. It doesn't matter where you place it because it's only going to rotate the mouth, but I usually place it like this. Maybe a bit smaller. Right, so when you placed it, what you want to do is find the jawbone, and the jawbone is usually placed like this. As you can see, all the teeth bones and lip bones goes to it. So you want to click on that one, and you want to go to animation again, or constraint and orientation constraint, and keep initial offset. So when you've done this, you click on the eyebrow bone, this one only, not the small ones, because you link those to the big one, and the eye one. Now you want to link it to the upper neck bone, which is the head only. So this means they follow the head, and you can rotate them as you wish, even though you have rotated the head. So that's really helpful. When this is done, I think that's the main ones, yeah. So what you want to do now is you want a hip bone. I think this should be the main hip bone for the blood of male. Yeah. So you create a new dummy again and you align it to that bone. Scale it down a bit. And you just link it to the helper where the link tool. So when you've done this, you basically have a solid rig which can help you animate your character easily. And I will also recommend that from the hip bone you create a smaller bone beneath the character, which is more like a master bone, or you just move the whole character. Let's make it smaller like this, and you want to link the hip bone, arm bones and leg bones to the small helper. So when you have this, you have basically the character rigged. Now what you want to do is you want to select all of these which are visible, and in the layer panel you want to create a new layer. So if you didn't do what I did earlier with the layer, you have to click on manage layers and you're going to find it. So create new layer, and I'm going to name it Avenue Bones. After that you want to click on the skin of the character on mesh and create a new layer for that one. Avenue skin, and for the hidden bones you can just select them from the default menu and create a new layer. I'm gonna useless. So then you have the main bones. No one are deleted, but you can easily hide them and unhide them. I'm just gonna make them visible again and then hide them in layer like this. So if any wrong bones are hidden now, you can, like I said, easily unhide them and you can fix it. And at the same time you can also hide the bones of the character if you want to just check out the pose. So now for making the character ready for ambience, if you click on these pages under the default layer, it's going to make it the main layer. which means if you put out the light now from the create and light menu here, we're going to put out the skylight and create a greyish kind of middle tone like you see here for a bit lighter yet dark tones. So just put it in the scene, and then you want to create a omni. You want to create it in front of the character and move it upwards like this. So when you've done this, you go into the modify rainbow menu thing, and this is going to come up if you have the light selected, and you want to click on shadows. You want to have that checked, and for now white light is fine. So we're going to render, and I'm going to show you how ridiculous it can look in the start. So as you can see, he's kind of shiny and it looks fucking horrible. To fix this, there's an easy way I usually do. So in your delete layer, you want, actually not in the delete layer, above it, you want to create a new edit mesh again. And this time you just select your character's main skin, arms, legs, etc. and the clothing. Just make sure not to select the eyes or the hair. It's going to select the face like this. Right, and the ears. You can also do this for earrings if you have a female character. So what you want to do now is open the material editor. I'm using the old editor, compact editor. So if you have the slate editor, you can make it into compact one instead. What you want to do now is pick material from object, and you just click on your character. So this brings up this menu, which is your character's files, basically all the meshes. Even though he's only got one mesh, yeah, they are split into many parts, for example only the chest, etc. So that's why I choose all of these, and I'm going to create a new one by clicking on the skin, the main mesh skin type of texture for the character, which is the full body, and on this M here you just copy it and you choose a new one of these squares. I already have a texture for another character there, so if you do that you can just reset the map with the X. Click yes. Now you want to, in the same place where you found the M last time, you now want to right click on it again and paste copy. So now you have the copied skin, and well, depending on your character, if you use specular, for example 20 and glossiness 80, you're going to get a kind of shiny feeling. I'm going to show you. But yeah, I just dragged and dropped it onto it now. So if it's white, you have to click on show shaded material in viewports. But yeah, so I'm going to show you, if you want these type of feel to your character, it doesn't really work that well with all types of clothing. As you can see, it looks kind of weird here, but it can look really good if you do it only on the face, for example, but I'm not going to do that. So we're going to leave specular at 0, and then we're going to go and copy. I mean, we're going to have to pick material from object again and come back to this menu. So I'm too lazy to select the hair, because those usually only have like 1 to 3 different ones. So we are going to click on all the hair ones basically, and just take off specular and check two-sided, so that the hair doesn't disappear on the inside. What you can do then, go to the drop down menu and material again, and it's going to bring up this menu. So you do this on all of the hair textures. So we are going to do one more thing here for the eyes. Also we are going to have to fix the cape. I just noticed I fucked that one up. But yeah, you want to, since we are still in the edit mesh one, you want to select the eyes, and you go to new panel and make sure that you still are able to paste the character's main texture. So you paste it onto the diffuse, And you this time you also want to paste it onto self illumination, because you have a blood elf if you do, or if you have any other character with eyes that glow in the dark. So now they're gonna light up in the dark. Then you want to go back to the main menu again. Let's see. So yeah, the cloak has a different texture. So I'm gonna go into this one and just copy it. Also, you want two-sided on the cloak, so make sure you do that. Right, so that should be it for the textures, right? What you want now is you want to go out of this edit mesh. I'm gonna rename it to textures, and you want to create a new one again. So the reason why I'm creating so many is because, like I said, if you fuck up one of these edit meshes, you're gonna have to do it all over again, unless you create a few and you just name them simple names like I do, so that you can, if you have to delete one, you don't have to do everything over again. So in the upper edit mesh one, you want to this time click on the vertex ones, which brings up these dots, as you can see. You want to have them all red and selected, and down here you can find one menu that says weld, and you go to this here, which should say, usually it says 0.1, but you're gonna have it on 0.01. Oh, actually, before I do this now, what you want to do is you want to rotate the mouth. If not, you can fuck it up depending on the race. So you just want to rotate it down, and you go back to the edit mesh vertex, and you want to click on selected after you have written 0.01. So this is gonna weld your character and make sure that every vertex is placed perfectly by each other. So what this does is it takes away those ugly lines you can get, which usually splits the textures. So after you have done the welding here, you can actually smooth your character. I would not recommend it for a lot of characters because they already look good, but if you want to, by smoothing it, you go to the modifier list here again, and you find something named mesh smooth, and this can create problems like the tarbud, as you can see. Some of these can be easily fixed by using a mesh select. I'm gonna show you somewhat how it works. So in mesh select, you want the mesh select beneath mesh smooth. You also want to go into mesh smooth and unclick apply to whole mesh. So this one should be off. And then you go to mesh select again. So the mesh select works through vertices. So you can't use any of these. You have to use the vertices. And for example, the mesh smooth now, which is over the mesh select, should only work on these red dots. So if you make it so that it doesn't affect, for example, this part now with the blue dots, if you click on mesh smooth now, you should see that it only smooths this area, but not the tarbud area, for example. You should probably do it much better than I do though. Also, you can see one more problem here. Let's see if that comes from only the mesh smooth. Yeah, so the problem with the tarbud here, usually you want the tarbud to be on a second mesh, so you can just clone it in the edit and copy here. Basically, you make a new one of it and you use edit mesh and just delete all these parts around it, because you don't want to weld it, which is the thing I just did with which is basically the weld and selected 0.01. You don't want to weld surfaces that are this thin, so cloaks and tarbuds don't work well with it. I'm gonna just rename this to weld, and I'm gonna turn off these mesh smooth and mesh select because we don't need them. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all for no, actually, there's one thing I almost forgot, but yeah, you need the shoulders, so I'm gonna do those fast. Again, you want to make sure that the layer, the default layer here, is blue, and you go to max import and import non-native file format, and you find the OBJ file this time, not the FBX. You want to make sure that all are selected and you import them. So this one is going to be tiny. Basically, you have to scale it up. Seriously, I'm sorry for the messy tutorial, but I have no script. So, yeah. Let's see. Fuck's sake. I've actually no idea how to get these the exact size, because unless you do one and one piece, they are all gonna be scaled from the middle, I think, of the mesh. But yeah, when you have these, we're gonna hide these now. So this is just the OBJ file, so you can hide everything except the gear pieces that are missing. Okay, so you're gonna delete those. You're not gonna need them. Also hide a bit there. So then we have the shoulders and shield, right? And then you can unhide the bones. What you want to do now is you want to link the shoulders to the inner bone of the shoulder. So this basically, don't link it to the arm shoulder bone thing that we used earlier, but link it to the one closest to the body, which is the V-shape head. Do that for both shoulders. And for the weapons, you can basically just, for example, take the shield. I'm gonna rotate it. It's 90. No, I'm just 90. Right. I'm not gonna place it perfectly here, but you just basically just link it to the upper body of the character. I managed to not take the whole shield. But yeah, that's basically how you do that. And you want to make sure to fix the textures of the shoulders, because they are gonna render, I think yeah, they are gonna look kind of weird. So as you can see, they are grayer. What you want to do then is when you color pick the shoulder, you want to click on this M here, and you want to make sure that alpha source says non-opaque, and then you can take this one, just drag it onto the second shoulder. You also want to click on the mesh again and create a new edit mesh. I know it says editable mesh there, but don't touch that one in case you do something wrong. So you take the vertices and you want to weld the shoulder with 0.01. Click selected, and you do the same for this shoulder. So when you've done this, it should move with your character. Nice. And at the same time, if you don't want the shoulder to move too much, it doesn't move with this bone here, so you can just rotate it with the bone itself to get more control. You could also, of course, link the shoulder to the upper bone like this, but I feel like the shoulder shouldn't move this much. It just looks kind of ridiculous in my head. So yeah, I like it this way. So now I think that should be everything, actually. Thank you for watching the tutorial, and I hope it's somewhat okay to follow. So yeah, take care.